What's up everybody? So Season 5 Diablo 4 starts tomorrow. Today I'm going to show you my two builds for Barbarian. First will be Upheaval and then Hammer of the Ancients, because both skills got insane buffs through the damage increase itself, but also through aspects and the unique, mainly Upheaval Hellhammer. So this character you see on the screen, that's from Season 4, my leveling character, leveling build. By no means it's maxed out, so yeah, I'm also using an axe and not the Hellhammer that's updated in the next season, because in Season 4 it was a bit weak, but it's the general idea. My main goal is to stack attack speed, and then I'll probably dip into overpower build, guaranteed overpowers and whatnot. My endgame goal is to make it into like a one build, so using both Upheaval and Hammer of the Ancients, because they have insanely good synergy. I used to do that in Season 2. I might be able to link the video in the right upper corner. But anyways, let's talk about some stuff. So first things, we got the Upheaval build. We are going with Frenzy. Frenzy will essentially buff our attack speed while we berserking, and with Upheaval we will have guaranteed berserking. So we have charge to move fast, to, you know, go from pack to pack faster, and then 2 shouts, 1 for unstoppable. So we have also 2 unstoppables with charge as well. That's 2. Warcry for the damage buff, and also Fortify. And Call the Ancients is my definitely hands down favorite skill in Barbarian. It has too many benefits for our class, so I'm going with that. With Technique, we are going one-handed mace. This one gives you damage to stunned enemies, not the second part, only damage to that. That's for leveling, because Upheaval will stun a lot. We are going to be using Hammer, so Concussion, the passive skill tree, and Upheaval itself as a base skill, upgraded base skill, it will stun, have a chance to stun. So let's take a look at the skill tree. So first things, we got the Frenzy here. Obviously, we go with the attack speed here while we're berserking. More stacks. So you could see on the screen in the playthrough, or in the loop I played at the beginning, that we use basically Upheaval on my right click. So I hold down right click. Sometimes I do left click just to keep up with these stacks on Frenzy. And next up, Upheaval. This is the guaranteed stun I was talking about with the chance. So 2.5 second stun. I believe this one is getting a bit to 3 seconds. I think it's getting improved. I'm not too sure. Over here we got Wild Upheaval for the guaranteed berserking. This one is getting buffed with duration. And the other one here is Fierce Upheaval. Frenzy also goes very well with this one, because in one Frenzy we get 2 stacks of Fierce Upheaval. But then we would need the Relentless Berserker aspect to have a chance to proc berserking with core skill. So this might be more into endgame. We'll see about that. Now, Endless Fury. I know it reads 200 weapons, but this one is actually getting changed to it's gonna remove the 200 weapons from this passive. So it's gonna apply to dual wield as well. So we're gonna have, especially for leveling early on, where we will struggle with Fury, Sustain, we'll have a lot of generation with basic skill here with Frenzy. Next up, we go with Rallying Cry or HP. You can see the leveling path here. I can also toggle this on. I'll have this link in the description on Mobalytics, so we can take a look what we go with step by step. But I'll probably go with Rallying Cry first for that Unstoppable, and also for Fortify. This is my favorite passive in Rallying Cry, because this stacks up Fortify quite a lot. Now, most people go with Resource here, but I'm just a big fan of this one, because we don't have to take a aspect. I know I did take an aspect on this build. You will see in a later, but still, I like it. Next tree, we got Warcry for the Fortify here, but mainly for the Berserking trigger. We go for Booming Voice for better sustain on the shouts. We go with Movement Speed. We also Charge here for, once again, going from pack to pack faster. Also Unstoppable. A cooldown reduction from mobs. You could go with Leap as well. It's in the description here somewhere as well, up top or down here. So you can go with Leap too if you don't like Charge, but with Leap you would need to get Aspect that reduces cooldown if you hit the mob. So yeah. We go with Prolific Fury, even more Fury generation. Like, our generation will be going through the roof. I believe we might not even need basic skill at the end in endgame. So we'll see about that. Next up, you got Pit Fighter, 2-in-1 passive, you know, more damage and also damage reduction. Counter offensive, we have a very good source for Fortify, so we go with increased damage here. All the Ancients, once again, amazing buffs. It gives you attack speed, it gives you increased damage. Ancients also give quite nice or do some nice damage, because since Season 4, all these minions or Ancients, they scale from your stats, so they actually do some damage. It's very good. You will see yourself during leveling. They also buff these in the latest patch in Season 4, so they deal even more damage now. It's really crazy good. Valop, this is the most important passive for Upheaval and Hota as well, since we're using 200 mace. You want this one, definitely. 2, it's a bit shame they removed Valop from the Amulet passives, but it is what it is. Heavy Ended for crit damage. Later on, once you get more crits, and also with Red for Unique Ring, you will get guaranteed crit chance when you spend Heart of Fury. So this goes hand in hand. And also with Furious Impulse, because both skills are pretty expensive on Fury. Upheaval is 40 Fury, Hota is 35, very similar. So this is going very well with Weapon Mastery, a legendary node in Paragon. I will show later. And since all these passive nodes got nerfed, it doesn't matter which one to go for. I'm kidding. I would probably go with Unconstrained. The numbers on the website are going to be updated probably today. So I believe this one got down to 30%. In general, it's 30% damage increase. Vulcan Arsenal got nerfed. Unbridled Rage got so much nerfed to 45%, where this is not even worth to use. It's not even worth it. They could remove this one. Useless. Gushing Wounds, I was trying to set this up on Season 4 with Gushing Wounds and Bleed, so this might still be happening. I think Bleed will be still king on Barb, even after nerfs, but we'll see about that. I like Unconstrained in general. Very easy to, you know, go with that. So it was a skill tree. Let's talk about the gear. So half of these aspects, I tried to pick the most aspects that are droppable from dungeons, which means when you clear a dungeon, you get guaranteed this aspect, even though it's a minimum roll. It's still, you know, it's guaranteed. So we got Aspect of Might for damage reduction. This one drops from a dungeon in Dry Steps. Next up, that was that piece. Next up, we got a Numbing Breath, which is for Fortify. Another one from a dungeon drop. Accelerating does not drop anywhere. This is the attack speed increase with core skills if you crit chance. Wild Bolt is a new aspect. I believe if this works as I think it will, this will be pretty crazy. So every 2 seconds, I believe this one got reduced to half a second as a minimum, but I'm not too sure. But anyways, every something seconds, distant enemies are pulled and they take increased damage for 3 seconds. This is very wild. This is very good. Especially with the AoE that we will have from Quake Hota or the Upheaval Hellhammer, stuff like that, right? Crazy. Ghostwalker, I went with this because we got 2 sources for Unstoppable. So if you rotate the Rattling Cry and charge, you will have Ghostwalker active pretty often. It's very good to move through enemies because sometimes when there is a lot of density, like let's say in Helltide or the Nightmare Dungeons, it's gonna help you, you know, go around or go through the mobs. On the weapons, I went with Thunder the Ground. This one got buffed as well. Now it's every 20 seconds. And I believe it increases more damage of the Upheaval as well, the overpower. So it's a guaranteed overpower, very good stuff. And the second part of this aspect, if you critical strike an elite, the cooldown is gonna be reduced. So no more Upheaval overpower, you just need to crit strike. So this is very good. So you should proc very often. I'm not sure if elite also means boss, because that could go really crazy. You could have almost not. You could have overpowers very often with Upheaval. That would save the ability, I would say. Next up, on the 2-ender, we go with Edgemaster. I think I like this one more than Limitless Rage on the 2-ender. Limitless Rage is right here. I might swap these around though. We'll see about that. So for damage increase. And now for charge, to have even better AoE clear, I went with Ancestral. Another great one is the Brawling one, which makes the enemies explode if you charge, if your charge kills them. That's also a good one, but with Upheaval or Rota, I don't think we need that. I think it's fine. On the rings, we go with Bolt Chieftain for shout cooldown reduction. Berserk Ripping on a ring for more, well, Berserk Ripping here for not only damage on the target, because it does quite a lot, it's not too bad, but mainly for slaking aspect. This is my favorite aspect on Barbarian. You have up to 90% chance, because this is on Amulet. It doesn't show on the website though. As you can see, Amulet 150%. So you have a lucky hit of 90% chance to gain Fury when a core skill deals direct damage to at least one bleeding enemy. So this is a very great one, procs very often. This also goes for Whirlwind Barbarian. If you think of Whirlwind Barbarian, also have a build about it. If you want to see right in the right upper corner for Season 5 that I tried out. Very great for Fear Sustain. I might also do if you guys want to see, I can make a Whirlwind Barb build as well for leveling. But Whirlwind early on is pretty hard for Sustain. And this is also dropping from a dungeon, Wildwood, which is very good. So this is the setup for Upheaval. Should I talk about... Let's talk about Hota as well. So I'm going to swap over Hota. You can see up top, you can you know, swap your stuff as well if you want to. With Hammer of the Ancients, all the aspects are literally the same. The only one we don't have is a 200. No more Thunder at the Ground. We have Ancestral Force. This one, it was up to 20%. And this is also doubled on bosses. So It's 40% damage increase on bosses with Hammer of the Ancients. That's really crazy. That's really good. Also drops from a dungeon, very easy to get. And good damage increase. And the talent tree is literally, or the skill tree is literally also the same. We just swapped from Upheaval to Hammer of the Ancients. And I went with Violent Hammer of the Ancients. It's because when you overpower, you will deal increased damage. That's why instead of Frenzy, we also go for Bash here, right? If you crit strike 4 times with Bash using 200 weapon, you get a guaranteed overpower. So that goes just as hand in hand. I think this build will be amazing, even for boss killing endgame. The really good stuff. So that's the Hota version. Now the stat priority, this is the same for both builds. For armor pieces, we're gonna go for armor cap, which is a 9,230, I believe, which should be pretty easy to reach. Max life for survivability, and also overpower does scale for max life. Resistances to hit the caps, depending on what's your ranks and stuff like that. Fury per second, ideally, it's on boots, chest piece, and headpiece. So with that, we can probably drop basic skill in the future. Gloves attack speed, crit chance, and plus Upheaval or Hota. I forgot to add it here. Hammer of the Ancients. Weapons is strength, max life, overpower / crit damage. And crit will be important later on with red for a unique ring. This one, basically, if you spend 100 Fury within 5 seconds, I believe, you get guaranteed crit chance, critical hit with increased damage. So yeah, Jewelry is crit chance, attack speed, and strength. Strength to scale, mainly Hellhammer, the burning, and also in general, this just increases your armor and damage. For the gems, we want to get the rubies on the weapons for overpower. Armor is strength. If you're playing Hota, I would probably go with life. And jewelry is all resistances. Once again, this depends on, you can go with specific resistances depending on your, current setup, right? When it comes to the rotation gameplay loop, use shouts for sustain for buffs and or also to get away from CC, which is unstoppable from Rallying Cry. Now for Upheaval Build, Frenzy to get attack speeds, buffs or stacks. And if you're using Hota, Bash, you want to get that crit chance 4 times to guaranteed overpower. Upheaval Hota main ability. Later on with guaranteed crits once again from the ring, Red Furor. Gold the Ancients, insane ability with just far too many benefits for the class. And I also managed to get this bad boy to 12-second cooldown in Season 4, which means Ancients are active for 6 seconds. And with your shouts, if you have Martial Glyph, Martial makes your shouts reduce the other active cooldowns by 2 seconds. We have 3 shouts, that's 6-second cooldown. So we have 12 seconds, basically, uptime on the... Well, no, we have 12-second cooldown that you can get max on Call the Ancients because max cooldown reduction is 75%. So the lowest cooldown we can go to on this skill is 12 seconds, and this means we have non-stop uptime on the skill. It is really crazy. That's for endgame though. Charge for moving around faster, once again. Now let's talk about the Paragon Board. I will talk about it as I show you. So the board is the same for both specs. Once again, we are using 200 mace for both, so it will be the same. First up, we got Ire for Berserking, also damage reduction. Your main goal is to hit 300% damage while Berserking for a Blood Rage Cat, which is right here. This is the one of the best damage increases in Paragon. That's what you want to go for. That's why you have the glyph here. The second board, we are going for Carnage. That should be your main priority, as you get attack speed increase. But mainly, this board is amazing for damage while Berserking, but also damage reduction from close enemies. We're going to be close because we are melee. If you can, get Might as soon as possible from Nightmare Dungeons in World Tier 3. That's what I recommend when it comes to leveling. Try to get Might. This one will also increase the magic nodes here. Then, next up, we don't go for next board with the glyph. We actually go for Weapon Master, because Weapon Master here is gonna give you 4% of max fury. Not too sure, but I think this one is getting buffed even more. I'm not too sure though, but this is insane fury gain. This is really crazy. So yeah, I would go for that one first. Also gives you some extra resistances. You might as well go for this rare run. But yeah, that's what you want to go for as a second board here after Carnage. Next up, I would probably go for Bonebreaker up top, which is guaranteed overpower every 12 seconds. Both builds benefit from overpower. And the glyph here we go with is Exploit for vulnerability early on. That's what we need. The problem with this build is the vulnerability uptime. We might actually swap to Rupture. And with Rupture, which would be instead of Call the Ancients, we might drop this. Go for Rupture. Not only gives pretty good attack speed, but with this passive here, if you deal direct damage with Weapon Mastery skill, which is Rupture, Your next core skill will make enemies vulnerable for 1 second. Well, you can get 3 seconds. And you can actually temper a weapon with this passive. That's what I used to do on my Barb in game in Season 4. So I had 8 seconds plus 8 ranks to this bad boy. So the target was vulnerable for 8 seconds. It's very powerful. I recommend doing that too. I think it should be pretty easy. Or you can use Steel Grasp instead of Rapture for that Berserking proc. That was this one. Next up, we'll probably go for a Warbringer here board. Warbringer gives us a lot of resistances, which is pretty good. And here I like to go with Marshall just above the magic notes for resistances and some damage if you want to. More points in here if you need. Next up, we got a Wrath Glyph into Blood Rage. This is the Dexterity board, Blood Rage board. So this one gives us Fury when we crit strike and also crit damage. Once again, at this point, you should have Red for a ring, I think, the guaranteed crit chance ring. So this goes hand in hand. And the last up we got Decimator for extra damage from vulnerable and overpowering. And here we go with a Dominate, which is a guaranteed overpower. This got changed to 20 seconds, not 30. So very good. And overpower damage increase. The only glyph we are missing is Crusher. So we might put Crusher in here. Crusher is the glyph for maces, where you deal more damage with maces. And 30% multi-overpower damage. So we might be, I might put that either in the up top instead of Exploit later on, because of the exposed vulnerability, or instead of Ire. We'll see about that. But that's the Paragon board for both. You have a little setup here, which you should focus on and what you should swap out and go for first. And I believe we talked and covered about everything. Let me know if you guys have any questions. I will try to update this build as I'm going to be playing it myself. And yeah, if you can hit me up on Discord if you got any questions. If I'm not streaming, also stream every day on Twitch. It will be in the link description. Also stream on YouTube, so you will see this journey every single day if you want to, if you're interested. And yeah, I would like to thank you all for watching. Enjoy your next season. Good luck to you. Until next time, have a good one and peace.